We got Laoki versus Apic. Laoki is another fresh competitor. Oh wow, okay, so this is going to be... Is this a mech rogue?
Yeah, mech rogue.
Okay. With Argent Commander and Assassinate, so this should be fun.
You don't see those cards often on ladder either.
Nuh-uh, I mean... Okay, so the Argent Commander used to be really popular when Azure Drake was considered one of the better 5-drops, but now it doesn't really kill a lot of the big 5 health minions, so it's kind of not run too much anymore. But we'll see it do some work in this game, hopefully. And then Loak, he's running a lot of golden stuff, so check these guys' ranks. So 20 and 10, none of these guys are super up there, but we'll probably see some fun games.
Pointing out Eviscerate here.
Yeah.
Kind of wasting that one mana, but he does kill the Armor Smith.
And that kind of signifies that he's really just trying to rush him down. I mean, usually Warrior is favored against a rogue, and if he's kind of playing like this, looks like it's going to be kind of a rush deck.
Well, against the Control Warrior, I think you really have to rush down if you're playing Rogue, because otherwise you're just gonna run out of steam eventually. You have such a limited amount of damage.
Yeah, okay. So the Acolyte's able to get 2 draws, and Apex still has the South Sea deckhand on field, so it's done a lot of work. It looks like we lost Vinny. Did you notice, did he say anything before he bounced?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, rest in peace, brother. Apic, yeah, I guess the Harvest Golem works. Okay, so the order here was the Harvest Golem was played second, so the Death Rattle effect will go first off on the weapon, so the second half of the Harvest Golem should live, right? Am I thinking about that correctly?
I think the second half dies.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out. He's probably gonna attack here.
Yeah, and he's gonna get another draw off that Acolyte, so...
Yeah, he's getting his first Acolytes.
No, yes, that does go off first.
Okay, cool. So the second half will stay alive and able to kill the Acolyte. Or maybe just go for Faces Knight armor. We'll have to find out. But as far as development, maybe just a dagger and a Tinkertown. Okay.
Tinkertown, yeah, Tinkertown's good here for the buff that it gives.
Yeah.
And we'll get another dagger up as well.
And reverse the switch, that could be quite fun. We have seen some warriors do crazy things like run Doomsayer in their deck, so reverse and switch could just kill a Doomsayer, but we may not even see that. Other fun things that we could see it played on like an Armor Smith, and that would be good considering warriors do a lot of whirlwind effects, and the Armor Smith won't get any value then.
Yeah, that would be really good for an Armor Smith to be able to take something like that out, but with your Sarah in hand, it could also work against your Sarah to make the 12-4.
That's another good point. Yeah.
But whether he uses it here or not, he could just Argent Commander here to drop the Armor Smith straight away, and I think that's what he's planning on doing.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking you could potentially go for face, but yeah, I guess the Armor Smith is too threatening to the total life total of the warrior.
Yeah, he really doesn't want that armor built up, so...
Yeah. Now Loak's probably realizing that this is not your standard oil rogue. I mean, he's seen the Harvest Golem, he's seen the Argent Commander, and he has probably a pretty good feeling about this. I mean, he probably has a really bad feeling about this as far as his knowledge of the deck.
Yeah, oil rogue is really strong, but not against Control Warriors, so he was probably expecting a pretty easy game here.
Yeah.
He's definitely in a bit of a harder position now.
And Apic's playing this really fast. I'm just going to use the reverse and switch right here with the Deadly Poison to kill it.
He does still have the Assassinate in hand if your Sarah comes down, but there's also Dark Boon to worry about.
Yeah, I was going to think it's probably going to be used on that, and then Ysera's probably going to get a lot of value, considering a Silence was just used. Maybe he's running 2 Assassinates? I would think that if he's running 1, he's probably running 2.
Yeah, it's definitely possible that he could be running 2. But whether he draws it in time is the question, really.
Yeah. Now, another deadly poison, and that could... oh, he's gonna use... okay. The deadly poison could have answered the Senjin, but he chooses just to assassinate it, and that means that Dr. Boom or Ysera's just gonna go unanswered.
I think this... yeah, it's gonna be Dr. Boom coming down. Would have been a toss-up between Ysera and Dr. Boom for me. I think I would have gone Ysera just because I saw the assassinate come out.
I guess he's just going with Dr. Boom just considering an armor up, and he kind of realizes that this rogue might be a little bit more aggressive considering the coin Abyss. So the Dr. Boom does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, as we can see here though, the rogue is quickly running out of steam and the warrior's hand is just full of threats.
And I mean, he didn't even attack with that, you know, Harvest Golem before it died. I was thinking that he might just kill at least one Boombot, or at least remove the armor or something, but he just lets it die before even attacking.
Yeah. That was probably just a misplay, I think, if anything.
Yeah, I don't know a solid reason why he was running for that.
So that was really interesting, attacking in with that, and it's actually lethal now with the Cruel Taskmaster Grummash.
I mean, he had lethal even without the Cruel Task given the weapon charge, but yeah, there we go. So first game to Loak, he's going to start with 17 life. He has gone offline in BattleNet, so I guess he just had internet issues, I would assume, but that's alright. We got Swiftest here to help us on cast anyway, and looks like the mech rogue that Apec originally used in the matchup against Andril is back to face against this Loak warrior.
Yep, and so we saw Harrison Jones there as well in the mulligan, so...
yeah, he threw it away, so, I mean, Harrison Jones is valuable against both these guys. Apec is running, like, Power Mace. We didn't see a Doomhammer, so he might have that, but I'm guessing that he probably doesn't. Doomhammer has kind of been replaced by Power Mace if you're running mechs. So...
yeah, Doomhammer's kind of fallen out of meta a bit. It's still used occasionally, but...
yeah. Maybe considered like a bursty card these days rather than a controlling card, but anyway, decent start from Apec. He has a 1-drop, but he doesn't have any mechs to buff it up, so take it nice and slow.
We might see a coin acolyte here, maybe, just because there's only that 1 damage on the board.
Yeah, that would.
I think it would probably be answered by the Rockbiter, but.
Yeah, but yeah, so it could be answered by the Rockbiter, or I was thinking even like a Harvest Golem could answer it. Or like any type of mech. Probably a Harvest Golem would be the most common, but he just... oh, even the Anoitron. So
yeah, the Anoitron would have done it as well.
If it would have coined, it would have just died with only 1 draw, so nice and safe, armoring up. Now Loak, does he maybe... okay, what is this? He could coin out a Senjin.
Yeah.
It looks like it's the play. That does trade fairly well with the board, but we could just see the Rockbiter, as we mentioned earlier, and that could get rid of this quite easily. And that allows him to get more totems out.
So that trades really well, creating 2 1/1 cards for a 4-drop there that was coined out.
Yeah.
It really slows down the warrior's tempo here.
Yeah. Totems, I would... okay, so help me on kind of theorizing this. Warriors have a really hard time dealing with Paladin hero power, and totems kind of fall into the same bracket, but yet you can only have 4 of them, and they kind of feed well for the brawl, warrior brawl, so they're kind of double-edged sword. So depending on how many we see, we don't have a brawl just yet, so far they're just working in his advantage. They're just going to start chipping away. But once Apec does throw down those bigger cards like Fire Elemental, they could generally just be a liability.
So I think Apex, like his play here is going to be to a Whirlwind and attack with the weapon. That should clear off most of the board for him.
Double Whirlwind, yet you're still gonna... you think a Cruel Taskmaster after that just to finish off the Shredder?
I don't think it would be terrible, but I think that's what he's planning on. He didn't play the Acolyte first, so I don't think he wants to play it.
Yeah, I guess not. I think it would be logical play if you're going Whirlwind twice. Get all 3 draws out of it.
Yeah.
What now?
So he's gonna use the Cruel Taskmaster there.
Yeah, so it
Think-
looks like it's going to be a Whirlwind, Cruel Task, and Armor.
Yeah.
And maybe a Raptor? Maybe Cho? No, we get, okay, the girl. So that's decent. It trades well with the Acolytes, so that's good.
Yeah, he just said that was an error, so I think he did mean to
Do the,
make the Acolyte play there.
I would
the
think
draw
so.
bit.
It makes sense to me. Get all 3 draws.
Yeah, well, this warrior, playing warrior here, it's a really slow deck, and so he could have afforded to really just draw that turn.
Yeah.
He does have a brawl in hand here as well.
Yeah.
So if this board gets flooded, he definitely has an answer for it.
Yeah. This turn looks kind of awkward. He does have Boom for 7, but the 6th turn is just, you know, he's has a Sludge Belcher, which is probably going to be played, but
Well, the Acolyte, you wouldn't get much value out of the Acolyte.
yeah, I was going to say that's probably not what he wants to do, because then he would just be forced to either armor up or have a naked BGH. I mean, BGH might not get too much value, but yeah, Flame Tongue
you wanna-
is nice here.
You want to keep BGH for maybe if there's a Nebulon or definitely Dr. Boom in this deck. You have to look out for those sort of things. So he's going to use Lightning Storm.
Yeah, that seems interesting. Spell Power Totem here is not needed, but I guess he wanted to go for it.
I'm surprised he decided to play the Flame Tongue Totem instead of just playing out the Fire Elemental and getting such a huge body on the board. He might be just careful of something like an Execute.
Yeah.
So one of the plays here is pretty interesting. You can Cruel Taskmaster the Mech Warper and then BGH it.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. So the Mech Warper is the same stats as a Fire Elemental, so you can kind of justify it by that. You know, using such a huge removal on 2-mana creatures sometimes feels bad, but he should feel alright about it.
But I think he might be looking to get a Brawl off here. It would be pretty good value. There's 3 cards out there, and he's going to do it before playing a minion, which is interesting.
Yeah. And he gets...
And, oh. That is brutal.
Yeah. And, oh wow, Ruling Zapmatic.
Yeah, so that's going to come out, and he still has another Rock Biter somewhere in the deck as well.
Yeah, and
If that doesn't go down soon, that can be used in conjunction with it too.
Yeah. And Apex didn't really want to flood the board, it looked like, even after the Brawl was used. He's rather conservative. Now, generally Whirling Zapmatic is only running like a bursty Shaman, and this Shaman isn't really considered that bursty, at least to what I can see. But he's going...
He's considering executing. And he's going to go for the Mech Warper instead of the Whirling Zapmatic.
Yeah.
Just because the Mech Warper represents a little bit more threat with its constant effect.
Yeah,
And we do see Doomhammer.
Raw stats too. I mean, he can trade well with the Whirling Zapmatic, so yeah, I do agree with the Execute, even though it's not able to trade just yet.
Things are looking pretty dim here for the Warrior.
Now, we know that Harrison is in the Shaman's deck. Did we see a Harrison in the Warrior's deck?
I don't think we did, but it would be spectacular here. And Shield Slam comes out. That's going to have to be used on the Zapmatic, I
I
think.
was gonna say I guess it works good here. Kind of a bad thing to only use it 2 damage, but definitely needed.
Well, it's definitely a threat. It's essentially 6 damage a turn, which is just...
And with the plus the
Let's here and just go straight for the face by the looks of it.
yeah, generally that's the thing. Either ignore her or like silence her polymorph, or
Yeah.
just trade all your stuff in her.
So now Sylvanas isn't gonna even be able to trade. Oh no,
That-
Fiery Warx
that's
comes out, so that
totem is sad. Oh wait, he can trade her off now.
yeah.
Healing? Which one would you rather have, healing or the other one?
In this situation, probably the healing. Actually, you can keep proccing your acolyte, and then it
That's
just
a
gets healed up again.
Good point, yeah. And then even
So Shama's kind of,
yeah, Shaman's
Ooh.
running a little dry. Is that?
but
Yeah,
with the
that's
rock
lethal.
fighter, yeah.
That's 10 damage. Okay, wow. So Apex going to take the second game. 23 life once he finishes his turn.
And that's 1-1, isn't it?
Yeah, 1-1.
Yeah, the Shaman performing really well there, getting the just racing the warrior down.
Yeah, and I mean
And,
that word Zapamatic shouldn't. I mean, it's not a common card, but yeah, it did hell of a lot of work. But and we got Apex versus Laoki. It looks like Loki's going with the ramp druid. He's get the wild growth already, and we got a face hunter for Apex. And this face hunter, we've seen some interesting things. We've seen a Cogmaster in this, and the Clockwork Gnome seems to be one of the few mechs that would actually synergize. So it looks like it's going to be a heavy one minion drop style face hunter.
Yeah, so I assume what he's looking for with the Cogmaster in the deck is to get the Clockwork and the Cogmaster in the starting hand. But he doesn't get it this time around, so he's just going to coin out the Clockwork Gnome.
And if you did do
That already
that,
presents, yeah, it already presents a pretty large board, but the Druid does have Innovate Swipe here.
yeah. Do you think this is justifiable to swipe?
I think it's just a wild growth turn here.
Yeah, I think the wild growth is better considering he has a lot of big stuff. We saw the Pilot Sky Golem, so I'm sure he has some other minions. He doesn't have anything just yet, but he has the options later. I mean, the swipe will just get just more value next turn. As we can see, he's just going to lay down more 1 health minions anyway.
Yeah, and next turn he's not going to have to burn the Innovate for it either.
Yeah.
And that's a really big value swipe.
That's a really good, nice curve as well. Swipe into Druid of the Claw. So that means you basically stabilize with 22 life, and that's nice.
Yeah, and the Hunter's almost pretty much out of steam here. He picks up the kill command,
Yeah.
but he might have to play an Owl just alone.
Yeah. The Whirling Blades is probably one of the better minions to get. I mean, you don't really need like a Rusty Horn or anything, so Whirling Blades is nice.
The Owl does buff up the kill command here, so the Druid of the Claw can go down as soon as it's played. But it's still another 2 cards, and the Hunter just isn't looking threatening at all at the moment.
Yeah.
Actually silences it just to go straight face.
Yeah. I mean, the Owl was top deck, so that's rather lucky. I was like, I mean... Huh. Stream is offline. I guess we're getting some errors.
So that's Malorn in the Druid deck there. It's definitely an interesting card to be playing.
Oh yeah, Malorn, wow. Okay, so does that mean that he's maybe running some Beast Energy with like that Druid of the Fang?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out here at all.
Huh.
And Explosive Trap doesn't get a ton of value off of these 4/3s. Cenarius as well. This might be Innovate Cenarius here.
That'd be really nice.
That
Do you
would.
think it would be the buff style or a taunt style?
I definitely think Taunt style against a Face Hunter.
Considering Explosive Trap
And-
just got used, yeah.
Yeah, with the Explosive Trap gone, I think that's just about. I'm not really sure if there's a way back from this.
Yeah, I mean,
For
as
the
far
Hunter
as
here.
power on board, that's... Oh, he goes with the buff.
Oh, so he does actually buff up.
Ooh, Arcane
He
Golem.
does have lethal next turn with that.
But almost so does the Hunter. I mean, he has... He could... Oh, he's gonna actually just do control, so that sucks.
Yeah, he kind of has to at this point, or he knows that he's dead.
Yeah. He's not
He's
gonna
gonna take out,
Oh,
and it's
wow.
a 2-drop.
And a taunt 2-drop at that. I guess the RoboCup. Wow.
Just 2 damage off lethal for the druid.
Yeah.
So Malorn just comes down, he's just gonna hit for 7 damage here.
That's an animation that I haven't really seen before. No, that's nice.
Yeah, Malorn's a pretty rare card, and I think this is just about the end of the line for the Hunter here, as
Yeah.
Malorn's gonna stay alive, obviously, and he just can't do much.
Yeah. Wow, okay, so I guess we didn't really see anything. Oh, we didn't see Neutron. So this Druid deck is definitely unique. We didn't see anything beyond the Maloran and the Neutron as far as uniqueness, but hopefully there's some other stuff in there. Loak's gonna
Yeah,
go
some very
12 life.
interesting cards. I think that was a slower version of Druid, but as Malorn's usually played in slower versions, I believe.
Yeah. Game. This is Loak's next opponent, Spider Pig. Spider Pig has played with us several times. He hasn't gotten very lucky. He seems like a fairly new player, which is fine with us. We love having new players in here. And he's gonna try again tonight against Loak. And looks like he's using the same deck they used last time with the rather interesting ramp cards.
Yeah, it looks like a similar deck, and the mage deck is really interesting here as well, actually.
Yeah, Bomb Lobber and Polymorph into a Mech Mage style.
Also saw a Shattered Sun Cleric, which isn't really ran often in a mage deck.
Yeah, I mean, Shattered Sun Cleric was popular in, like, Zoo, but it's been... I mean, Zoo's almost cycled out as a whole deck itself, so...
Yeah.
Slow start from the... I guess you would call it a Mech Mage, but... The Druid has kind of a funky curve. He was able to get Wild Growth out, but nothing else just yet. Now, the Mage Coin Shredder, or maybe just Micro Machine? Looks like it's going to be the Coin Shredder. They'll start off this game with the first minion to hit the board. Oh, and a Maloran. Wow, okay. Innervated Maloran.
I have returned.
And this guy's stats are pretty solid for a 7-drop, given the 9 attack. Now, do you see this kind of trading with the board, or just going for face?
I wish I could comment, but the screen share has just dropped out a bit, I think.
Okay, here, let me refresh it. Okay, it should be loading up now. Just let me know if you have any more problems. And Spider Pig chose to silence the Maloran, which isn't really too big of a deal. I mean, so just go back in the deck, and if he never sees it again, he's probably not going to be too upset about it. Can you see the screen yet?
No, it's still down.
Okay, well, does it have the little, like, loading circle?
Yeah, it's just loading.
Okay, well...
It might be on my end. I'll just check it.
Okay, I refreshed it one more time. Hopefully you're alright. But the... Oh, a Polymorph's gonna go down on a Maloran. So a Silence and a Polymorph is used. Kind of a little bit wasteful, but hopefully not too big of a deal.
Yeah, so silence and polymorph used.
Oh, you got the
And
screen back up?
Yeah, it's back up. Okay, so Varnus in hand as well, and with the silence gone, you'd be thinking Sylvanas is pretty good,
Yeah. I mean,
and there's not much else to do.
Spider Pig could trade his whole board in Sylvanas and it'd get no value, but I mean, that does still eat up 2 minions from this rather strange Mech Mage. So that's a good trade.
Yeah, in general, if he's trading 2 minions for Sylvanas, it's still pretty good.
Yeah. So we do see the Iron Fur Grizzly and a Stormwind Champion. So this is definitely like this is his spin on Mech Mage at a budget level, I assume. So
Yeah, that's definitely what it seems to be.
we're probably not going to see Antonidas or Dr. Boom, but hopefully we can see him maybe pull out one game against Laoki. So hopefully he can do some work here. And a Frost Nova is not considered a strong aggressive card.
Definitely not in Mech Mage.
Yeah, I guess you could see it maybe in like, maybe he's just trying to set up his board in a stronger way, so the Frost Nova is just to freeze your opponent's board, just so you have. I don't know. Maybe it could work. But the bomb.
So I think, yeah, Bomb Lover comes down.
Yeah.
He also thought about trading the Mistress and playing probably Iron Fur Grizzly with a ping, but the Bomb Lover is definitely a little bit better than that.
Yeah. And now he could answer the Sylvanas with trading his stuff and a ping, but you know, like we said before, trading 2 minions and then plus having your opponent use 2 mana to actually finish it off is a reasonable trade.
Yeah, it's a really reasonable trade. It might be a ping into the Antique Healbot, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Or perhaps just the Iron Fur Grizzly, but Healbot would look a bit better. It would set up for a good Tinkertown next turn.
Yeah.
And the Druid does have the combo in hand, and so he's really got to start looking out for that as well.
Oh yeah, he did draw the combo rather early, so that's kind of why we're seeing the Druid have these funky turns. But either the combo next turn or probably Cenarius does kind of give Spider Pig some real threat some real problems on the board. He already used his Polymorph as well. Yeah, so Cenarius just feels fine right here.
Cenarius looks really good there with the 2 Treants, and there is a Flame Strike in Spider Pig's hand here that he could use, but it's still not going to clear out that Cenarius.
Yeah, he would be 1 mana off a ping onto Cenarius, which would almost kill it, so he might do the Flame Strike like you mentioned, and then just hold, just do a face attack, but never mind, he just wants to develop his own board.
Yeah, getting the 4/4 Tinkertown down here is pretty good, and this board is a bit hard to deal with, kind of, but it's not really too threatening at all.
Yeah, I think it would have been okay to Flame Strike there. I mean, you're playing against a Ramp Druid. Generally, they won't have more than 3, so I would almost think that the Flame Strike was a better play, but that's all right. I think.
And so we've seen a
Yeah, the Polymorph and.
Well, we've seen a Polymorph come down already, and that 5/10 is really dangerous.
Yeah.
The Polymorph would look really good here, but it's just already been used.
So I guess he would have to go with the Flame Strike and then trade in his Tinkertown. And that still doesn't kill it, does it? That's still 1 damage off with the ping.
Yeah, it's still just 1 damage off.
So both big minions would survive no matter what he did with the Flame Strike.
Hmm.
Wow, can he? Okay. Is this just lethal?
I think he has to Frost Nova here, or he's just gonna die.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If he doesn't play the Frost Nova, then Force of Nature Savage Roar comes out, and that's just way too much damage.
Yeah.
That would easily clear him off.
Oh,
And
so
he's gonna play the Healbot as well.
Super defensive, which is good. That's gonna
Yeah,
allow him-
definitely.
Now Loki's probably going to play the Keeper Grow, maybe do some 2 damage to the Tinkertown. That'll give another more Flame Strike value.
Thing is, even with Flame Strike here again, it just doesn't clear off the board.
Yeah, I mean it would only remove essentially 2 minions.
Yeah, and that's with the ping onto the Belcher even.
Yeah, and I mean even okay, so if 2 minions survive here, even if they have 5 attack, that's probably still lethal because that would put them down to, yeah, that's lethal.
Yeah, it definitely would be, because it's got to be the Cenarius and the Ancient of War that survive,
Yeah,
even if the Flame Strike comes down.
and I mean
And so that would be,
they do 10 damage apiece, so that would
So it would
put them
be-
down to 17. Yeah, that's way past lethal. That's like
Yeah, it'd be about 28 damage in total, so it's just lethal.
okay, wow, huh? And there, do you think he should Rusty Horn his Stormwind Knight? I mean, even okay, so yeah, even if he does that, he's still dead. Considering
Yeah.
4 minions on board with the Savage Drawer, that's gonna be the max 7. Wow.
Time runs out on me.
So he's gonna clear off the Belcher, but
Yeah.
he might. I think he might just escape, but I'm not certain.
I don't think there's a way to escape 7 minions with Savage Roar.
Yeah, I think. Well, he's already done the calculations, and it looks like he's got it. Yeah, he's definitely got it here.
Okay, so Loak's gonna start this series out with 13 life. Game number 2, Loak's up by 1 game. And we have Swiftness on the cast here tonight. And it looks like Spider Pig's running the same mech style deck.
And he has a Foe Reaper there.
Yeah, the Foe Reaper. So that's... I'm guessing that that's like the one lucky legendary they got, and he just kind of wanted to build a deck around it. So that's going to be awesome if we actually see that get played. Now,
Yeah, that will be pretty cool to see, yeah.
Foe Reaver really isn't played too much in competitive play, but I've seen it like on random streams, and people use it as like this big nuke on big creatures by attacking a little creature that's next to it. So it can have some really creative plays and deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, it definitely can deal a lot of damage, and it's a really good card in Arena as well.
Oh yeah, Arena's all about minion. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, do you think Loak's running maybe a mech druid? He just kind of flipped up his deck a little bit?
Yeah, we didn't see the piloted Sky Golem before,
Yeah, and
but I
this
think
Robocub is
we
new.
have seen everything else here, but yeah, the Robocop as well, so...
Okay, so what is some mech synergy the druid has? Is it just the Robocub, or do they have some other... You don't have any weapons? I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either what the synergy with it is. I haven't looked into it much, but there's a junk bot draw for the mage there.
Yeah. He's 1 mana off being able to use it and getting the actual buff off of it, so... He's gonna go with the ping, and hopefully keep his Noyatron, Mechwarper alive to get the buff next turn. Oh, swipe, dang it.
Swipe just comes down and clears out the board.
Yeah, so I guess the Violet Teacher or the Water Elemental. Yeah, and that's pretty good against a Druid. I mean, it freezes up the hero power. And then,
Yeah, and the Elemental is just really hard to clear in general on top of that.
yeah, it's rather sticky. We could see a Shattered Sunclair come down along with a ping to clear out the first half of the Sludge Belcher. Or maybe he just wants to polymorph it? Okay, so it looks like he's gonna go for it.
Yep, so he's seen some of the really big threats in this deck last game, like the Ancient of War, and I think he's holding the polymorph for
Oh yeah,
things like that.
that's really smart. Okay, nice. Okay, so we see the BGH, which is just shy of the Foe Reaver range. The Foe Reaver has a 6 attack, so maybe it can get buffed a little bit. I don't know if we did see a Abusive Sergeant, but that won't work because that's in Spider Pig's deck. So I don't know if Lot can essentially use the BGH this game. Oh, an Arcanist. Okay.
Mm.
So that could be used with the Piloted Sky Golem and the Thalnos. Oh, even the Dr. Boom.
And the Dr. Boom. The Dr. Boom would be a huge...
Yeah, and that gives it...
with the double death rattle.
It gets 1 stat for each death rattle, so it'd go up to a 4/6 or 4/5. Wow. So that's a pretty solid card. I mean, you wouldn't generally think of this Druid as a death rattle, but so far 3 out of the 5 cards are death rattle based.
Hmm. So if this does happen to be a more mech druid type deck, we might see a mech bearcat
that's another one.
possibly.
Can you remind me what exactly that does? I kind of forgot.
Every time it takes damage, it gives you a spare part.
Oh, okay. And doesn't it have like a really high attack and generally a low health?
It's a 7/6.
7/6. Okay. Huh. I
We
kinda
just saw the
doubt we'll see
polymorph.
that, but hopefully we do.
So the polymorph got burnt there.
Yeah, the polymorph was actually just on a slime.
Yeah, which is really interesting. And then as soon as Laoki saw that, he just instantly dropped the Ancient of War, and
Yeah.
the Exorcist comes down as well. And not a card you see all the time, but now Laoki knows that he doesn't have that either, and he does have a lot of death rattles in his hand.
Yeah.
Time runs out on me.
So, beyond the deck advantage that Druid would have against a non-meta deck, Spider Pig is almost just not really even playing very well. So he kind of feels a little bit pressured. So
Well, Druid is just a hard deck to play against, in my opinion, with
yeah,
the huge taunts that you see, like the Ancient of War.
yeah. I mean, he had Wild Growth early as well, and there's the Faux Reaver.
So there, yeah, it's kind of playable, but it's not going to clear out that Ancient of War. But then again, nothing else in his hand is going to do that either.
Yeah,
He's going to drop the heal bar, but that's only going to heal him 4, which isn't great value.
yeah.
And the Spider Tank as well, by the looks of it.
I mean, like we mentioned before, the Faux Reaver kind of wants to attack smaller minions, but then get the damage spread across to the adjacent bigger minions, and he can't really do that with the taunt up. So
Yeah, no, it can't.
the swipe's really strong here, clears out majority of the board with a hero power, and he's probably going to trade his keeper in too, I would assume. Yeah, just making sure the board's nice and clean. So
Yeah,
no shenanigans go down.
Reaper is still hard to put down here, but there isn't much else to play.
Yeah.
There is the Dragongling, which would bring up a mech for the junk bot.
Yeah, and I mean, even if he does the Faux Reaver, Loak would kind of be in a sticky situation to even clear it himself. I mean, he would have to trade a lot of his board into it, and if your opponent trades for you, it probably still does the big damage, I would assume.
I think it's just when it attacks, actually.
Oh, okay. Let's
Yeah.
3 attacks. Okay. Huh.
So we saw Dr. Boom go down there,
And these
and then
three
Wild
death
Growth
rattles-
played.
These 3 death rattles would have been nice with the Exorcist, but it's kinda
Yeah, it really would have been. Still really keeping that Faux Reaper.
Yeah, I guess that he kind of probably, I guess, wants to get rid of the taunt, to be honest, before playing it, but he's not even working down the taunt with his ping.
Yeah.
Well,
But it's almost at this point, the Faux Reaper just gives a really good body on the board, if anything.
Yeah, and I mean, he has the man to work with, so hopefully he's able to play it before he dies. No combo just yet for the Druid, so I have to wait a little bit longer.
There's still 14 damage on the board, and very tradable as well.
Yeah. Really solid
I
build
guess
bot.
3. And 2. Ugh. He fell short by 1 both times. It's unfortunate. But it still works out pretty well for him. He doesn't mind getting frozen
Yeah.
at this point.
Oh, he's gonna even charge the... Okay.
Yeah, he's just in too commanding of a position, really. And the second polymorph comes out, but it's just a bit too late.
Yeah, so I think if he would have played the Faux Reaver maybe a little bit earlier and force Loak to trade into it, he probably could have been alright. I would have liked at least to see it if it does only the big damage when you attack or when your opponent attacks into it. But we're not going to
Yeah.
see it. It's on board and... Wow. No,
I think that Ancient of War was just really damaging, and yeah, the polymorph that was used the turn before just really paved the way for it, and
Yeah, especially when it was used on a. I mean, it only. Okay, so the polymorph was a 4 mana that basically only did 1 damage by changing the 1/2 into a 1/1, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of sad. Iki Cram. I don't know. Maybe Swifters could pronounce it better.
Um,
Alright, we need to see. I can't see his hand.
I think it's Ikikram. Seems like, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know, it's really hard to pronounce.
Alright, so we're gonna go with
So Laoki-
Iki Cram so far.
Yeah, so Laoki's running the same deck by the looks of it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I would assume the Ikikram is running mid-range Hunter. Those seem to be more popular than the face. We're gonna have to reload the Spectate whenever he sets up his options to allow us to actually spectate. So, his first few turns, he does have the Wild Growth, and generally if you have the Shade and the Wild Growth, you can just coin it out, considering it'll go nicely into the turn 3. We'll see if he does that. And looks like we have a Face Hunter actually. Okay. Oh, with the with the Timberwolf.
That's very interesting. That's not an ordinary pickup at all, but it can synergize very well with something like Unleash the Hound, so...
Yeah. Now, I would guess with that in the hand, I would think that he's also maybe running a Snake Trap as well.
Yeah, it's definitely very possible, but the problem with running things with 1 health against this druid here is going to be the swipe.
Yeah. Now, okay, so if he's running the Timberwolf, just theorizing a little bit more. Okay, so we can theorize the Snake Trap, and I also think that he might be running the card draw mechanic, the Cultist.
Cult Master, yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually a really strong card draw, and in Hunter it can work very well, as
Yeah.
Hunter struggles with card draw a lot.
So this might be like a super Unleash the Hound type thing, where if he doesn't get Unleash the Hounds, he's kind of boned. But when he does get it, it's an auto win almost.
Yeah, so we did see the Shade, the Wild Growth into Shade,
Yeah.
and here I think Anoitron looks like a good play, considering it'll just give him a taunt to protect himself for a bit, but he's going to need to be down to 18 life.
Ooh, yeah. The Noitron will absorb maybe a bow charge, but I'm assuming the Ikiyakram probably won't attack just yet.
Yeah. I'm wondering if Ikikram has been watching this stream, he might be running a Hunter's Mark as well.
Oh yeah.
He would have seen those Ancient of Laws and those high health creatures and just changed it around, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, and that's the reason that's the reason that we run no deck rolls, is because that could potentially happen. But Loak chooses to stick with the same deck. But yeah, so if Ikikram is paying attention, he did sign up rather late into the night, so maybe he just saw the stream, saw the little advertisement, and maybe that's where he got it. So that's definitely a possibility. But he gets Huffer.
So no,
He uses his bow without another charge.
So obviously another taunt's going to go down here, and there's a lot of taunts in this hand. You have the Druid of the Claw, and then follow up to that is the Belcher.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to see the Shade getting traded into Huffer here, or if he's just going to go for the face with it.
Wow.
And he does just go face.
Okay. Ooh, a silence. Okay, so Ikikram, I guess, could silence and then keep the pressure up. That would put him down to 14 with the kill command in his hand.
Yeah, that would put on a lot of pressure.
I mean, he could even hear past that, so that put him down to 12, and... Oh.
So actually, so he's going to silence the Shade here and then attack with Huffer. And probably play the Explosive Trap, which is also a really good idea.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just wants to throw down this kill command. So he does trade, and that will be the Explosive Trap coming down, so...
Okay, nice.
No heal for the Druid at the moment, and there's the Ancient of War for next turn. And that's going to be really hard to get through for the Hunter here as well.
Yeah. Sludge Belcher's gonna be the next taunt, and he's able to roughly stabilize at 16.
And Glaive Zuko isn't going to be a lot of help here.
No, it's not. Whatever minion you get it on is just gonna die almost straight away.
Do you think that maybe he has to just play the Timberwolf kill command to take out this Belcher here?
That'd be strong. And it looks like he agrees with you for sure.
Yep, and he's going to play the Glaive as well
And
to get a
that'll-
2-1 and take out that slime.
That seems okay. That seems like a nice play. I mean, really smooth. Develops the board.
It does take away a bit of his reach though, and with that Ancient of War coming in, it's going to get harder for him to do damage with minions.
Yeah. But that is essentially the last taunt, though. But
And
he
Unleash the
can't
Hounds is there as
cast
well.
it very well. So this could... Okay, so Unleash the Hounds, if the Knife Juggle gets lucky, he has 6 damage potential to actually absorb or go into the war. 7 damage actually, if he gets lucky with the Knife Juggle.
He might just pass here, I think.
Okay.
The problem is, since he played the Timberwolf and then drew the Hounds, it's a real problem because the Timberwolf's just going to get cleared now.
Yeah, and I mean it doubles your Hound's value, so he kind of wants to use it, I'm sure.
And on top of that, there's not really much flooding in Laoki's hand at the moment. He has 2 high mana creatures.
Yeah.
Just doesn't seem like he's going to be flooding this board anytime soon.
He does throw down the naked Knife Juggler, which is... I guess it forces him to have a choice of whether to clear which one.
But it did actually made the Knife Juggler more of a threat than the Timberwolf.
Yeah. So it's like a distraction tactic.
Yeah, definitely, possibly a distraction there, so...
But now the
If-
Hounds will potentially do 4 damage. So he could...
Plus
he
the
could clear
Timberwolf
it.
is sick.
He throws everything into it.
Yeah, he does also have to... He might just replace this Glaive Zuka and use the 3.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. But then that's
It
gonna
does
put him down
waste-
to 16 life, or yeah, 16 life with a 9
16
attack
life.
creature on the board.
So yeah, he does choose to actually trade there, and... So he has 3 damage in his hand.
No.
Oh, sorry, 3 damage on the board.
Yeah. Oh, I was just thinking about lethal for Loak. I think he has it, dude. 9, 4 plus 4. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he does.
Wow. And then okay. So Maloran's high attack actually getting huge value here, and Loak's gonna take that with 12 life. Dude, this is Loak versus Iki Cram, and looks like they're using the exact same decks as last time. Maybe he flips out for a Hunter's Mark, but so far we just Arcane Shot. That's interesting.
Yeah, not a card you see much at all, even in Face Hunter. I think
Yeah.
some decks do run it, but it's not...
Well, okay, so in my experience, Arcane Shot was run a long time ago, like even before Naxxramas in a Face Hunter style deck, but it hasn't really been needed just yet. And
Yeah, it's been phased out quite a lot since GVG.
yeah. Well, I mean, after the Death Rattle meta and then all that drama, so maybe Ikukram is just using an old deck, or maybe he's just trying to create something new here.
Yeah, well, there's definitely 2 of them as he just mulliganed one out and
Got the other one.
was given another one. And in fact, there's the second one as well.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not a bad card to have in the start. Well, maybe
Yeah, so
it might be considered more of a late game card. Like, is it just a cheaper kill command? Or is it more of a, try to keep your minions alive by controlling that card?
he might just be looking for more reach around those taunts.
Okay. So, in that terms, cheaper kill command. But
Yeah.
as far as minion development, I guess a naked Glaive Zuka.
We just coin out the bow here, or hero power.
Okay.
Start getting that damage off.
Yeah.
And there is a Kazan Mystic here in Laoki's hand, which will inevitably change the game later on.
Yeah, and we didn't see anything except for explosive traps, so That's almost guaranteed to get stolen eventually. And hopefully Loki...
So there's
Well, actually, do you think Loki just flipped that in his deck, like, right here? Considering... I don't think we saw that in any other game, right?
yeah, I don't think we've seen it at all tonight.
Okay, so
And
yeah,
he's played this deck in a fair few games now, so
yeah, he's essentially played, I think this is like his 6th game, so yeah. I guess we'll just assume that it's a hidden card that he just flipped for this specific matchup, considering I guess he assumed that Ikikram's going to stick with his hunter even though he lost, so bravo to him.
Yeah,
Getting
so-
that meta call.
yeah. So in the hand now we have both Unleash the Hounds and Timberwolf. That combo.
Yeah, we're only missing a knife juggler, but that would be really big. He might want to... Do you think he... Okay. I was thinking he could potentially try to keep that Shredder alive, just for more hounds, but I guess not.
I'm surprised he played down the silence there rather than keeping it for the taunts that he knows that are coming out after the last game, but
Yeah, the Shredder is not, you know, not essentially a high priority target for a face hunter.
I suppose he just needed to get something down.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And it works good here with the kill command, and he's able to trade. So maybe he was predicting that Loki would actually throw down Sludge Vulture, but playing quite nice so far.
Yeah, I was actually expecting a different play there, maybe trading the Owl and attacking with the Glaive Zuka. And then Arcane shotting the 1-2, but I guess the kill command works as well. Maybe I just value it a bit too highly for that face damage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's justifiable considering we're gonna see a lot of taunts coming up. So far, we see Cenarius and Ancient of War already.
Yeah. Ancient of War will probably come down next turn and chooses not to play the Wild Growth there, so he might just be keeping that for card draw later on in the game at this point.
I like that play actually. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I guess.
I wouldn't value, like, you're basically only getting like 3 mana out of that, and you're already curving nicely into your next heavy drops, which you know you can only play like 1 per turn anyway. So
Yeah, he does really only get that. He only gets 1 extra mana. He wastes 2 on that turn, but he'd be wasting 1 now anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal.
yeah.
The Ancient of War.
Namisha's nice to have, but it just does not trade well. Now, okay, so how much damage if he wants to trade everything? He could do Namisha for Wolf Rider 7 and then double Arcane Shot to actually finish it off. Or he could do 1 Arcane Shot and a Timberwolf. That'd be enough. And he has the mana
It's all looking.
to do it, but guess not. It looks like
So he kind of
just-
hands the initiative over here.
Yeah. I would have.
Druid is on.
I personally would have gone with that play to actually kill the war. But he's able to get a silence, and that's top deck, so that's rather lucky.
Yeah. In fact, was that 4, 8? No, there's 8 damage possible there. Used everything in the hand, but it looks like he might just take this one. There's no taunts. Oh, there is Cenarius. Cenarius could come down and that might save him
Yeah.
for a turn here, but
that kind of
Cenarius-
juices up your Unleash the Hounds. Right?
yeah, that just juices out the Unleash the Hound, so I think the Hunter might just take the game here. It's very possible.
Yeah. I guess he
If
could
there was a
swipe. Just try to stay.
Yeah, a swipe might do it, but if he swipes, he doesn't get that Cenarius, and then Unleash the Hounds and the double Arcane Shot just takes it out.
Would that be enough? So Unleash the Hounds would be 4 damage. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so yep, that's lethal.
Yeah,
then.
so he'll definitely have enough.
Yeah, he's gonna have basically 10 damage only from the hand.
Yep, and the Knife Juggler as well. Yeah, even with Cenarius there, things just weren't looking great
Huh.
overall, and
So he's gonna play this out. he could basically play his whole hand here. We'll probably see maybe some DM, but
Maybe he's a man.
guess not. He's not going to do the knife juggler. He's just going to play standard, and there we go. So this match is basically tied up.
Yeah, so the Face Hunter manages to take that one, and that silence top deck was just really what managed to win the game for him overall.
Yeah, even though he silenced the Shredder early in the game that we kind of found questionable, but it worked out in the end. Okay, so we're loading into game 3 right here. This is basically the deciding match between these guys. Laoki is trying to get his 3rd win streak, which would almost guarantee him to win the whole night. And Ikikram is kind of a new contestant that we've never seen before, and he is sporting a Face Hunter 3 times into this Druid. So this is, they're basically using the exact same deck 3 times in a row right here. And Ikikram
Yeah, and the
was
Face...
able to get a nice win, even though we mentioned earlier that Laoki had the Kazan Mystic and he wasn't able to use it. I mean, there was no secrets up anyway, so I mean...
Yeah, I thought that definitely would have been a factor, but there just wasn't a secret played by the Hunter in the end.
Yeah. So Laoki kind of has a nice start. Oh wow, okay. So I was gonna say he has a nice start with an Electron, but misses a Wild Growth. But he gets the Wild Growth off the top deck, so that might set some nice initiative.
Wild Growth curves really well into an Annoyatron Hero Power next turn as well.
Yeah. And as far as Ikikram's response to that, okay, wow. So it's just gonna go with the
Yeah, just
Bazooka.
play. It's definitely not a bad play there. It means that overall this the Leponome is going to do 8 damage total if he does choose to Hero Power it down, and he will. So that's a fair bit of damage.
Yeah, I mean, 1 mana creature doing 8, that is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, definitely is a Face Hunter where you just need that damage.
Yeah. So Ikikram, as far as development, he doesn't have any nice minions to play out. Arcane Golem is not generally what you want to play on turn 3.
Yeah. Might be considering silencing the Annoyatron. Or yeah, he's gonna play down the Arcane Shot instead, which is also a pretty good play.
Yeah.
And coining the Arcane Golem, I think, well,
Oh, really? Wow, I was assuming just a hero power, but yeah, I guess you're right.
that is going to bring in a piloted Sky Golem.
Yeah. Pilot Sky Golem trades really badly with the board, but looks like he doesn't want to do that. He just goes with the spell-powered Wrath.
Yeah, well that gets him another card, and
Kazan missed
really
it.
not a bad play at all. And there's the Kazan again, yeah.
Yeah.
The Druid still doesn't have any taunts in his hand, which is a bit of a problem for him here.
Yeah. We'd expect a Druid of the Claw or Sludge Belcher by now, but hopefully he gets it soon.
Well, he's drawn into them, the last 2 games, and maybe he's just run out of a bit of luck this time.
Yeah. Okay, so there's the Sludge
Oh,
Belcher.
Or maybe not, maybe he's still really lucky.
Yeah.
But that's a really good silence target there.
That is.
We have the Druid already down onto 17 health, which is pretty low tracking. That's an interesting card to be running now.
Tracking, yeah, tracking's rather interesting. It was run a lot before, and it kind of went out of favor, but now it's just kind of used to search for that little bit of lethal at the end, I assume. And
Well, he might just track here. He might just be looking for a kill command if he does go for a track.
You think? I personally would just do the Owl and a Wolf Rider.
Yeah, that would also be a perfectly fine play.
Because even if you do the tracking, you can't silence and kill command.
Yeah. So he's just gonna hit the face with that one, obviously, and it's got Glaive Zerka and Hounds in hand. And if we see something like the Timberwolf come out again, that could really affect this game.
Yeah. Note the 2 minions still stay alive. And Laoki sought to unleash the Hound, so he's maybe a little bit nervous about developing a 3rd minion before he can actually sacrifice his Thalnos.
Yeah, that wouldn't really be strange if he was doing that. So tracking does come out here, and that will be a kill command pickup, I think.
You think?
I don't think you can pass up that 5 damage.
considering what a taunt druid, yeah, I think Kill Command is probably better. The Animal Companion looks juicy, but usually minions don't do too much work against a druid like this. They generally just die when hitting the board, and the Kill Command will be the guaranteed 5 damage.
That's the druid down to 9 health here. This could be really dangerous, but Sludge Belcher comes out in that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's still
Gonna do some work.
still on the clock, right? He's on basically
he's
2-turn clock. 2 more hero powers, and the Kill Command will be it. Okay.
Is that?
That's almost...
35. Ah, he's gonna be 2 damage off. If he plays the Hounds here, I think.
Yeah, he's just mana short, right? He just needs extra mana to actually hero power. Well, use his whole hand and then hero power. So you can just kill him next turn. Just get him down to 2 life right here, and not a big deal. Whoa.
The druid's also dangerous here. He's gonna have to, he's gonna have to kill command that.
Okay.
Because the hunter's on just 7 health
at
the same time, so he's...
yeah, I didn't even recognize the 7 health for the hunter, so wow. I guess both swipes have gone to face, so that kind of makes that kind of a big deal.
Yeah, so hunter's just gonna throw everything he can out here. And the druid does only have 5 damage on the board, and that makes 7.
Yeah, that top deck.
Yeah.
Well, he had
so what happened there?
He could have had a lot of top decks, right? Savage
Yeah,
Force of Nature.
Yeah, there were a lot of things he could have picked up there, but the Thalnos with those 5 damage swipes to the face was just very effective in this game, and
Yeah. This is Monster versus Laoki. Monster's actually fought with us, I don't know, I want to say about 5 or 6 times. He just hasn't been able to pull out a win. Looks like he's hiding his hand. We'll let him know. So we'll have to reload this UI. It looks like a priest versus the druid that Laoki has pretty much been playing all night. And he has
and he's been really solid with it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like a standard druid either. As you can see, we see a Robocub, and we've seen the Maloran in here as well, so it's almost like a meta shifter. He's able to do so well with it.
I must consider.
Yeah, just a ramp druid with just a little hint of mech in it.
Yeah.
Because there's also the Annoyatrons in there as well.
Oh yeah, that's another mech. Okay. But we haven't seen any other like mech synergy. Like we theorized potentially the spider cat or whatever it's called that summons the spare parts, but we haven't.
Yeah, mech bear cat. Yeah.
Someone injured?
Okay, we're gonna reload this UI. Monster hasn't responded, but we'll assume that he did. Yeah. Okay, so he did fix his options real fast, and he started out with a cleric, so he's off to a good start. But
3-2 bear really shuts down the...
That bear just kind of really blocks it out.
Although what we could see is the Pyromancer and the Circle of Healing, because the Pyromancer will actually proc first. And then it will heal everything, so that will be 3 card draws, and that will put him pretty far ahead here.
Yeah, that's... Looks like that's what we're gonna see too. Oh, never mind. Okay. We got all excited.
Yeah, he decides not to do it, that's interesting. He might not know that it procs first, perhaps.
Yeah. Keeper of the Grove is a really nice answer with the Innervate. That's not something you expect, but it's gotta be something you're at least thinking about. But sadly, it's worked out. Now, priests these days, they have some variety. They could be running Balance Chosen, they could be running like a Recombobulator style close, like a Thought Steal. Those are generally considered the cards that you switch out. So, I'm kind of curious about what he's actually using. So far, we just see the standard stuff.
Yeah, so that's the Blade Master, which will probably be used with the Circle of Healing here.
Yeah, I mean, druids have like no hard removal for this. There's not like a polymorph or anything like that. So the druid's just gonna have to kill it the old-fashioned way.
What we didn't see in this game was the wild growth being used, although it was in hand on the
Oh yeah.
in his first hand. He decided not to use it because I assume that he wanted to get rid of that cleric as fast as he could.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, turn 1 he coined out the bear, then turn 2 he innervated out the keeper, and then he's just curved out ever since. So turn 5 it does actually get used. So
I wouldn't be surprised if that's because he wants to play Malone next time.
oh yeah, that'd be really strong. He gets a Shrod Sword, which could potentially be a big threat, but it's probably just gonna die straight away to the Blade Master. So nothing fun. But that,
It might actually get taken by the Shadow Priest, possibly.
oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it does. So if Malone comes down here, there's definitely a board to answer at this time.
Yeah. So Malorn has seen a lot of action tonight. I mean, it's obviously just one card in the deck, but he seems to get it almost every game, which is really nice. It's a nice card to see.
Yeah, it's been seen, I think, every single game so far. We've seen it at least in hand.
Yeah.
It rarely hasn't been played. And it's done a lot of work. It even secured him a game just earlier due to that high damage amount.
Yeah. And now it's gonna clear the Sludge Belcher. And he's able to develop probably a Sky Golem off that. I don't think that he would necessarily need to throw it on the Thalnos. Oh, he's gonna go with... Okay, wow.
Yeah, so he's probably running 2 copies of that, and he wants to clear the board here. I think it's... He can clear most of the board. He might clear the Blade Master or the Trog. I'm not really sure which one he's going to go with, though. Oh, so he actually trades differently to what I was expecting.
Yeah, that's... I wasn't thinking that as well. Now, how does he trade as a Maloran?
So he wants to take out the 4/5 instead.
I guess that works. I mean, he realizes he has no other spells in his hand, so the Trog's not
Yeah.
too big of a threat.
Dr. Boom is a pretty big pickup here.
Yeah, that is.
There is the BGH to answer it. It might just be Lotheb and Dark Cultists coming down, and that presents a pretty good board as well.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Cultist paired with any minion is kind of dangerous. Considering you have
And
to-
we don't see a taunt here,
Oh wow.
and
Oh,
that's lethal on the board. I think it's 1 off,
5, 8. Yeah. It's
just
off
1 damage off.
combat armor. But those boombots are surely gonna do some work.
Yeah, he decides not to trade with the Sky Golem here, which is interesting. But the Druid is sitting down on 1 health,
I think
so
that's smart though. I mean, Sky Golem only can. I mean, if you trade into the Sky Golem, the Sky Golem's essentially getting more attacks off, right? So if you don't
Yeah.
attack with it, you just let the Sky Golem only do 1 attack, and he gets a Fell Cannon, which essentially works against him almost, considering his opponent has, 1 mech now, but
yeah.
that's gotta be it.
Yeah, it's got to be the game there, I think, and
Yeah. He even gets
the Soul Priest for that 2 damage.
Zombie Chow. Wow, okay, so awesome. Monster takes the first game, 27 life. Nice. It's Monster versus Laoki. Monster is the vet of this tournament. Laoki is a new guy who's getting on a nice win streak tonight. And looks like this first hand... So Loki's finally changing up his deck. I think he ran Warrior maybe once earlier tonight, but he's finally...
Yeah, he
bringing
did.
that in.
He did play it in his first match, before changing over to the Druid.
Yeah. And Monsters looks like he's sticking with the same deck that he won last game, and it did have Thought Steal, so like I said before, that's one of those swing cards that you could either have or have not.
Job's done.
So it's going to be more of a control-y priest, which is good against a warrior. And in my
Yeah,
opinion,
so-
I think... Ooh, Ysera is kind of interesting, but in my opinion, I think that the priest is a little bit favored. But we might see something different. Just considering, like,
Yes.
the Armor Smith and the Acolytes could be stolen.
Dark Cultist here is... Dark Cultist is one of the really stronger 3-drops. It's like Spider Tank is considered a good 3-drop in general, and then you get that extra Death Rattle with it, so it's probably one of the strongest 3-drops in the game, really.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then Balance Chosen even on it, so it's going to be a huge target. We do have an Execute, but no activators just yet.
Death Spite there, but that's not going to really
Yeah.
do a lot.
Looks like he's just going to feed the Dark Cultist. Now, Monster could try to heal it out of Execute range, but he's just going to be one shy.
So he just plays Thought Still there, which is so-and-so, and we see that's a Gromash pickup from the Thought Steal, and that's huge.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Anytime you get a legendary against a warrior, I mean, it's really nice. I would say Grom is a little bit on the lower tier as far as legendaries that you want to get, but it still works great.
Well, I mean, it's a huge finisher, and in the right circumstances, it can work really well for the Priest.
As far as activators, do you think maybe Pyromancer is one of the only ones that could be used?
Yeah, Pyromancer, and also maybe if there's a Orkney on the board, you can just damage it with your Hero Power.
That's a good point. Okay.
Aside from that, there isn't really a ton, but the thing is, a warrior has a lot of things that damage other creatures, like Whirlwind and Deathspite and things like that.
Oh yeah,
So
you think maybe he could throw it on the field, just to kind of as a minion, and then that would kind of force the warrior to maybe as like a scared bait type thing to essentially not Whirlwind?
yeah, well, I mean, if you play Gromash like that, and then for instance, if he were able to play it now with that one charge left on the Death Spite, it makes it very hard to use that last charge because it's gonna enrage that Gromash.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully we get something like that out of this scenario.
Like, for instance, he hasn't used it now because he doesn't want that Acolyte getting procs, but it's just gonna get one here, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I would think that he would go with maybe a Holy Fire, but he thinks differently. Maybe he's trying to get... I don't know what he's doing, if he's gonna trade it like this.
Holy Fire wouldn't be too bad, but you wouldn't get all of the heal value out of it.
But against a warrior, you never really need the heal, right?
Yeah, I guess that's pretty true as well. You kind of don't. You could Shadow Word Death it here, but I don't really think
Yeah, I don't...
it's on his mind. There's a lot of larger threats. Well, he is actually thinking about it. I'm not really sure what this warrior deck is actually running. There's Ysera, which is generally not played much anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of considered too slow in this meta, even for a slow deck like Control Warrior.
It'll probably do some serious work in this game, though. I mean, the Priest doesn't seem to have anything too aggressive. Like, sometimes you see a really aggressive Priest, like a Death Rattle Priest came to mind, but that's kind of gone. There's been some more mid-range where they run a lot of the buffs, like Balance Chosen, but we've seen also Thought Steals in this Priest deck, so that kind of signifies that it's rather slow, and then even the Holy Fire means that it's really slow.
Yeah, so Ragnaros just came in hand for the warrior, so it's a good thing that Shadow Word Death was kept.
Yeah.
And as for Ysera, I wonder if this Priest player might be using Shrinkmeister.
Shrinkmeister.
We haven't seen it, but if Ysera does come on the board and he has Shrinkmeister along with something like a Shadow Priest, it would be an easy steal.
Yeah, we can also see, potentially, we could see like a Shrinkmeister, Shadow Madness, and then Recombobulator. That would be a lot of fun. That'd be a 9-mana random creature. But that's kind of asking a lot.
The Boombots did 3 damage to the warrior's face there and also took out the BGH.
Yeah, that's nice. That's kind of almost what you want to have, considering try to get the armor low. There is one shield slam, so the armor is definitely relevant.
And the warrior hasn't gotten much card draw off at all this game.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's sitting with very few cards in his hand at the moment. Albeit some very strong cards. Ysera might come out next turn, but
Is there a way to answer if it does? I mean, there's no silence, there's no Shrinkmeister like we discussed, so... Wow, Ysera might do a lot of work if it does come out.
Must consider.
Yeah, it'll definitely stay for probably at least a turn or two, and this looks like Gromash.
Well, I mean, Gromash would definitely take a Ysera, but there's an Execute, so I'm almost guaranteeing that's going to be the prime Execute target.
Yeah, I think we're going to see an Execute Ragnaros on this turn, unless something... Well, Belcher's not bad either with a armor up, but... Ragnaros for 8 damage to the face, and... He does go for it. That will get Shadow Word Death straight away, but it's still going to do that damage.
Yeah. And I mean, with the Grom and the other Dust Bite, I mean, 15 life is not essentially safe against a warrior.
Yeah, Cleric might be a play here.
Is someone injured?
If he wants to combo it with that Pyromancer. And he actually does.
Yeah, that's really strong. I mean, you get 2 damage minions and then... Oh wow, he's gonna circle, he's not even gonna heal. Well, I mean, he could do both, right? Circle and heal.
Yeah. And the Shadow Priest
4 cards.
and Sylvanas. So he gets 3 cards out of that one, and he can still play another heal again, but I think he's just planning on healing his own face here. Oh, he does heal the Pyromancer.
Okay.
And it's Mind Control. That is really big if the Ysera comes down.
Yeah. As far as fatigue levels, the priest will definitely hit it sooner. Well, I mean, the acolytes are still in there, so it's too early to tell. That's a little premature, but yeah,
Yeah,
Mind
there's-
Control's definitely gonna do some work. Do you think he'd even
Yeah,
use Mind
there's-
Control on Dr. Boom?
I think it's very possible. It is a pretty large 7-drop, and if he doesn't have another way to deal with it, he might just have to do that.
Yeah. That one's chosen. Okay.
Yeah, the Mind Control's looking really good here.
Do you think
And it would be just out of Shield Slam range. But it would be Shield Slam, trade a bot. But he's looking at a taunt here, which also isn't too bad. He might be expecting much larger threats for that Mind Control to take.
Do you think maybe taunt Holy Nova? Oh, never mind. Okay, so Valen's chosen.
Taunt Valens, that does put up quite a wall, and that's going to be a fair bit of damage for that boom if he trades into it like that.
Yeah, and I mean, that does set up a nice Holy Nova next turn, too.
Yeah. And so there's the Acolyte, but I believe we've seen both Death Bites used. We haven't seen Whirlwinds yet.
And the Cabal is there for the Acolyte. We don't see a Shrinkmeister just yet for the Cabal combo with the Ysera.
It's going to be slammed.
Slammed. What do you mean by slammed? What's gonna be slammed?
Shield Slam
Oh,
the
yeah,
Belcher.
oh, yeah, shield slam. Yeah, the Boombot hit
Pretty
was
sounded-
lucky on it to be able to get in the range of Shield Slam.
Yeah.
Now,
Down to...
maybe a Mind Control is viable.
I think it's almost the only play to really take.
I guess he could Holy Fire the Sludge Belcher, that would allow him to live, but...
Yeah.
Let's see, is that Playmaster? Okay.
Consider.
Yeah, I guess those are his only 2 options, and then beyond development, if he goes with the Holy Fire, I guess a heal on himself and or maybe just a Blade Master with a... Okay, so he's gonna Mind Control...
So Mind Controls...
the interesting target, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but now Ysera comes down, and that's not answerable at the moment. There's absolutely nothing
No.
to be done about that, and he gets Ysera Awakens, and that is 1 damage off lethal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if these minions survive, it's obviously lethal, but... Oh, okay, so Holy Fire... That's gonna put him out of lethal range, even with the Ysera Awakens.
It would have been out anyway, Boom would have taken that 5 damage and died.
Yeah, okay.
So... The Blade Master as well. Hmm.
Is someone injured?
Is he actually... Is he maybe thinking about healing this boom, or is he just... No, I think he's just going to heal himself here. Puts him further out of that lethal range, and... But Ysera Awakens... Oh, Ysera Awakens is actually just not good at all now.
No.
Because you would just... You'd see... Oh no, it's actually lethal. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it's able to kill.
Alright, yeah, totally.
Okay, nice. We completely missed that, but anyway, so Loki's able to take it with 30 life, and that evens up the game. So this is the sign game between Monster and Loki. Loki's on a 3-win streak. He's trying to grab his 4th right here, and Monster is a kind of a veteran of this King of the Hill style, and he's actually trying to just qualify for the group stage. And if he's able to win right here, he probably won't be able to win the night, as the night's almost over, but he will be able to earn a win for tomorrow night if he does choose to play. Tomorrow night's going to be the last night for the qualifiers. And he has a really strong start right there. That's like a dream hand almost.
Yeah, double Armor Smith, followed by the Death Spite, that's gonna be pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dream hand for almost both players.
What is a bit unfortunate though is that this, well, for Laoki at least, is that the Armor Smith isn't going to trade well with this Cleric, and it's going to give away a few card draws at least.
Yeah. But he does coin it
The shield, yeah, the shield box will give away to keep up with it though, with the card draw, but he's also going to get a card draw off of the Power Wedge shield, so...
Whoa. So he's not going to do a card draw just yet, and just developing his board, I guess. That's interesting.
So we'll see double Armor Smith, and that's going to give 2 armor for the first hit. And he attacks the Cleric, so...
Yeah, that last turn for Monster is kind of questionable. I guess it cycles well, develops your board, but yet he's still not able to use this Cleric, and it might just die soon due to the Death Spite. Well,
yeah. He does still have a turn until that Death Spite is playable here though, so...
yeah, hopefully we'll finally see some card draw out of it.
Yeah, so... He should be able to heal the next turn. He might put down Pyromancer.
Yeah.
It's definitely a possibility.
Now, if he plays Valen's Chosen next turn, we're just gonna be... I don't know. We'll have to go talk to him. But this trade looks solid. He's already up to 12 armor on turn 3. So that's double Armor Smith for you.
Yeah, and he's got at least 5 more in his hand, and
a Shield Slam, so anything that comes out, like the Dr. Boom, so... Finally goes with
he's gonna heal first here.
Nice. So, plenty of Death Targets in the Warrior deck.
I'm surprised he didn't choose to attack with the Zombie Chow there. It would have been good value, giving back only 1 health for a 2 mana minion, but...
Yeah,
chose to trade the other way instead, and...
put his Dark Cultist down a little bit.
Oh, another Cleric, that's really big.
Yeah, that's gonna... That's almost like... If you go to Northshire Cleric, it could be dangerous, but...
Yeah.
Looks like he
There is almost there's almost a sacred rule among priests, though, that you never play 2 Clerics at once.
Yeah.
It's just too dangerous.
We've seen a lot of YouTube highlights with that, so yeah.
Yeah. There was one with a Maz where it was priest versus priest, and the guy had 2 Clerics out, and there was about 12 minions on the board or something.
Oh,
And
wow.
he played Circle of Healing, and Pyromancer was on the board, and
Fatigued.
yeah. It was crazy.
Against a warrior, do you think it's safe to do that, considering they never really heal? It's still risky, yeah, but I would say it's one of the safer classes to play against.
Yeah, I think what's more risky though is that you just end up overdrawing eventually.
Yeah, and
Because,
the warrior never chooses to kill your clerics. The warrior just kind of chooses to keep them alive.
Yeah, and so it makes your heal pretty much inefficient on minions, and that becomes a problem eventually.
He plays this well. He plays the second cleric with the heal and a Blade Master, so keeping up the card
Yeah,
draw
and-
while not overcommitting to it.
think he's... You'd be looking to trade both minions in here, wouldn't you?
I think that would be a
Actually,
solid play,
that's
but I
not.
guess he chooses not to do it.
Then again, Sylvanas doesn't really have a target that can kill her, and
Yeah, she
but there is Cruel Taskmaster in the hand.
Well, okay, so if he goes with Cruel Task, he's not able to get a clean 100% steal on the Playmaster, right? So it is kind of 50-50 still.
Yeah, he might end up with that cleric, but then again, that still makes the cleric kind of dangerous, as the priest will be healing his minions and just giving cards to the warrior.
Yeah.
So both options are kind of troublesome.
Well, I mean, even
And
now
in
that
fact-
it's buffed, the Cleric does look really juicy.
And in fact, it's going to be a
100%, yeah.
on the cleric, I think. Or he might be looking. No, yeah. So he gets the cleric, and it's buffed to a 3/7
Yeah.
with that extra spell damage.
That's a juicy Shadow Pain target, but you never... That's almost not a card used anymore, and then if you did use it, you don't really even want to kill your own Cleric. So yeah, that's definitely a nice swing turn for the Warrior.
Yeah, we have yet to see a Shadow Pain in this deck. I don't think he's running it at all, actually.
Now,
I think it's just the Shadow Death.
okay, so it looks like he's going to throw a Ragnaros, hopefully absorb some Boombots, and then maybe go for a 50-50. Okay, so... Oh. He chooses not to use Ragnaros as a Boombot, so...
So he's going for the 50-50 here,
And...
and yeah, it doesn't pay off.
Hmm.
The priest is just a one turn off of stealing that Ragnaros away, and that's gotta hurt.
Yeah. That's a good reason why they even play it there. Goes with the Holy Fire and Death. So nice clean kills.
And the priest has a lot of cards at the moment,
Yeah.
and the board control. But Big Game Hunter's a big pickup too.
That's nice, yeah. Able to develop a Shield Maiden behind the Big Game Hunter, so the board control goes back to the Warrior. But he's running dry on cards. And once the Ysera does hit the field, it will be stolen. Unless Monster wastes that right here on maybe on the Shield Maiden. Hopefully not though.
A lot of options here on this turn. He's gonna hook an eye and take out that 4/2. The Orkanai is really weak to the weapon here though as well.
Yeah, it is. I was just thinking about that. It just doesn't trade well with the board.
Perhaps he throws down the Belcher? No, he's gonna balance it by the looks of it. That would also work.
Okay, so that's gonna get up to a 5/9.
Yeah, and that would make it...
Does trade well with the board. Oh wow.
No, he decides against it.
I guess he's just saying that the Warrior hasn't done enough executes this game, so he doesn't feel comfortable with that, I guess.
Yeah. And it looks like it's just gonna be hero power. So he's definitely calling the mind control here.
Yeah.
And he actually made a misplay there by playing that Acolyte after the weapon
Yeah, that's a good point.
dodge was used, but
The weapon did go off. Okay.
Orkanai would be really good here with the circle actually. It's too bad that that's no longer a play.
Yeah. Nice clean minions to go by the circle.
Hmm.
So, I think the Sludge Belcher with the Valen Chosen a little bit safer, considering the weapon can't go straight to face and just get that 1 damage. So this is nice. But he still has the execute, but he doesn't even have it in his hand. So
Yeah, Gromash is now in the hand, but there's no activators for that one. I'm still wondering when this Ysera is going to come down. But he really doesn't want to give it up for a mind, like trade the mind control for Ysera.
yeah.
What now?
Maybe he's waiting until he can get his own execute. So just in case the Ysera does get stolen, he could definitely answer back.
Yeah, that definitely could be the play as well.
Maybe his forces do it right here out of necessity. Guess not.
Just drops the Senjin and gets more armor up, and
Lotheb's nice minion development, and then maybe Blade Master heal? That trade's decent with the board.
Yeah, it could also just be Belcher
Belcher's
to
good,
protect that Lotheb a bit more.
but is that too much value for Brawl? Well, I guess the Lotheb blocks out Brawl, never mind. It's a safe drop.
Yeah, it's a 10 drop and it could be used, but if it doesn't go your way, you've just wasted a whole turn and
Yeah.
it really doesn't look good.
So by trading this way, killing the first half of the Sludge Belcher, that could signify a Brawl, right?
Yeah, it definitely could, couldn't it?
I don't know what else he would do. He probably doesn't want to throw down the... Oh, he's Sarah. Okay.
Well, he's hovering Ysera and he's definitely looking at it and it does go down.
Yeah, the priest has drawn a lot of cards. He's already drawn 20 cards. So here we
Maybe
go.
he's looking... Oh, Dream is not a good pickup there. He was probably looking for Ysera Awakens at least.
Yeah, something to activate the Grom and just do damage to the face.
And that's just a mind control target now, and Brawl is a good play here. Along with maybe the Acolyte to try and get that draw, and that's Nightmare picked up from Ysera.
Yeah, so it's almost a guaranteed Brawl, but what does he want to support the Brawl with?
With the Belcher, it's good because even if the Belcher dies, he manages to keep a minion on the board.
Yeah.
But
doesn't
he chooses.
want to Brawl.
Yeah, he's gonna choose to play it afterwards by the looks of it, and it's Lotheb that survives.
Well, I mean, that's solid. I mean, you don't really care if the Lotheb survives or not. I mean,
Yeah,
all you care
he
about
mostly
is
just wanted that. Yeah, the
he's-
Ysera gone. Yeah.
Okay, so Power Word Shield, able to keep his Lotheb alive. And maybe a Blade Master Circle of Healing. It's probably a really solid play right here, to be honest.
Yeah, actually, that looks really good at the moment. Or maybe even a Blade Master followed by a Holy Nova just to get rid of the 1-2.
And you could also heal with your hero power, so Holy Nova is really not considered a strong card against Warrior, so if it gets some value here, it'd be nice, but I guess he doesn't want to go for it.
Yeah, well, he's able to heal Lotheb up right to that 7 health margin if he circles, so that's probably a little bit better, yeah.
Yeah, it's still a nice play, definitely.
Hmm. Not really much to do with the War Axe here, and you can... Dream could be used on the Blade Master here, as it has to be replayed as a 4-3.
Oh, that's a good point.
Obviously, you don't... Even though the Lotheb has it buffed, you don't really want to put it on him because... But he does. That's pretty interesting.
I mean, the Lotheb was only buffed by 2 health, yet the Blade Master was buffed by
Yeah.
4 health, so I would also disagree with that play, to be honest, but...
And
worries.
the Lotheb gets replayed with that effect, so...
Yeah, the effect is kind of a big deal. Even though there's no
Yeah,
spells,
it's-
it's still a relevant effect.
Well, especially with something like Grommash, where you could be top decking a Whirlwind or something like that.
Yeah.
That's going to be Cultist and Lotheb being replayed.
Yeah. And that's a really
And-
dangerous turn.
Yeah, Laoki doesn't really have a way to deal with the board at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the cultist could die, but yet the buff is really kind of scary.
I can take
Hmm.
a hit.
And so he's just going to go straight for the face, and he wants to rush this down and just hope that that the Whirlwind or the Cruel Taskmaster comes out to buff this Grommash.
Well, okay, so even if he does get that, he's only going to have 12 at maximum. We know the board's probably
Yeah.
gonna get cleared here. So we would have to maybe get another weapon along with the Cruel Taskmaster.
Yeah.
So he's reaching a little bit, but it's a lucky reach. I mean, sometimes in Hearthstone, you just have to get lucky. He knows that he's really far behind from the insane 2 cleric start from Monster, so it's
Yeah.
solid.
The Priest did get a really good start, and he does also have Nightmare in hand here. Actually gonna Nova because that's gonna heal up his minions a lot.
Yeah. Now, if the Boombots get some face damage, maybe we could see a lucky lethal, but Shield Slam, that's probably helpful.
It's not really here. He doesn't have enough armor built up for it.
He would want
He
5,
might just-
definitely for sure, but the 4
Yeah.
does help a little bit.
Yeah, taking out the Blade Master isn't too bad.
Ooh, and a Thought Steal. We only have 6 more cards, so
Yeah, it's really coming down to the wire here, and Shadow Word Death straight away.
wow, that's a really nice clean kill. Oh, and
Yeah.
he Thought Steals with this guy only at 1 health. Okay.
It's Execute and
Whirlwind.
Whirlwind, yeah.
So that means Whirlwind's still in here. There's Execute.
I think that's gonna have to come down on Lotheb now.
So we could
Does
say
he
that
play-
minion advantage is in favor of Laoki, considering just the huge 1 minion, but card advantage and answers for monster, and the Execute's almost guaranteed to go on the Grum whenever he does hit the field. Well, if
Yeah,
he hits
and-
it and not lethal, but
Yeah, and Laoki, it looks like he might play Grommash here just to clear off the board. But I think he realizes that he's just not going to be able to do it.
yeah.
Playing the finisher is generally pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, Kit Kat's once quoted, "You always have to finish with Grom, and if you don't finish with Grom, you've already lost that game." So that's kind of what
Yeah.
we're seeing here. And the cruel tap.
And oh,
Okay. Wow.
that is
Okay, so
that's rough.
the other cards might be, maybe there's another weapon or 2 in there.
I have
Probably
no
like a
time
Sludge
for
Belter,
games.
like a Shield Maiden, but
Well, he has 2 turns over the priest. In terms of fatigue damage,
yeah.
the priest will start taking that first.
So
And-
he has to activate the Execute with the Cruel Task, so it's pretty much going to donate the Cruel Task over to Monster if he does it.
Yeah, but if anything, it's just removing at least 3 damage from the board, and
Yeah.
maybe Laoki does have something else in his deck here that we haven't seen Alex Strasser. Well, I don't think it's played much in Warrior anymore.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen Baron Geddon.
That's a fairly common card. I would think that hopefully he's running it, but
Yeah, and it would really swing the game here. It would take out those 2 minions on the board at least.
yeah. And if he does
Cabal
have
is a
Baron
bit of a
Geddon,
problem.
any weapon could take out Cabal.
Yeah,
Embrace the void.
but Soul Priest is...
Just more
Soul
pressure.
Priest will take quick... Yeah, Soul Priest will take quick care of Geddon if it does come out, so...
And that's lethal, especially with the Nightmare in hand.
Yep,
Is that even
11...
This?
So he's got 2, 3...
He could hero power,
With-
so that's 7. That's 1 off lethal, right? As far as what I can calculate.
2 off, I think. I think it's 9 damage in total.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be 9 in total. So he's gonna be just off, but I don't think it's really gonna be...
No. This dude will go up to 7, and this is 3, so 7 plus 3. So
Wait, is Nightmare 5/5 or 4/4?
It's a 5/5.
Oh, it's 5/5. Huh.
so
that
he's
was
just 1
4/4.
off, and
Let
so
me
one off.
change your mind.
so he's able to get
Plus-
next turn.
Yeah, there isn't really a need to play it there anyway.
And Whirlwind is just useless. Wow,
Yeah,
so
I
Monster's
wonder
gonna
what
take
that-
this series with 23 life.